And do you want to talk a bit about how you made those, Chris?
The moves are we started off, when we built the game, we started off building them as a cube because we didn't have any graphics, we were just starting from scratch. So we started making this cube move, and we tried to make it jump and move around and float so it felt good. And we thought if we can get a cube moving and feeling good, then when we add in the graphics, it's only going to amp it up. So yeah, we started there, and then it was just an iterative process from then on.
This is just... Now, how long ago was it that we came up to visit you?
I think it was probably, was it a few months or a couple of months ago?
Yeah, I want to say like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
I can't believe how much this has come on. Because when I last saw it, some of the moves were still placeholders.
That's right, yeah.
And like, the little quills weren't animated.
All the cubes and things and blank textures, yeah.
Wait until you see how far we've come now. I mean, even this build is a good couple of months old now.
Actually, yeah.
There's lots of new animations and effects and kind of graphical things. I mean, we look at this build and think, oh, it doesn't look anywhere near as good as the one that we've got back there. But it's good to hear feedback that kind of people appreciate that it's kind of moving forward.
I can't get it's really hard to explain because when we went to the studio, we couldn't show you the game at that point. But it's really hard for me to explain how much this has come along since I've last seen it. Yeah. Oh, this is... Sorry, I'm having a moment. This is why Jackson has to record everything twice when I see games I'm really excited about, because I spend most of my time going... This is what gaming's always been about for me, is like these experiences that just make you smile.
So, when you're just fighting those minions there, when you fight the minions, he destroys them, and there'll be a butterfly will appear, and the player's then got a choice of what he does with the butterfly. He can either eat the butterfly, in which case will give him energy for his butterfly meter, or he can walk into the butterfly, and then that'll give him extra power for things like such as the roll move when they roll together with Yooka-Laylee on top. So there's a meter there you can see goes down. You can use that for a certain length of time. If you roll through butterflies, you get extra energy on your meter. So there's kind of a choice you've got to make there, is when you've beaten the baddies, is which one you want to go for.
It's kind of a way that we wanted to try and think very carefully about how the collectibles work in the game. So we wanted to bring back a lot of the good things about the collectathon games of the past, and try and avoid some of the kind of occasional monotony of when there was kind of too much to collect and it almost became like resource management. So the butterflies are kind of one way that we're kind of doing that, in that you kind of have a choice attached to how you collect them. And then also you would have noticed earlier that I ate that berry bush, and Yooka was able to kind of absorb its properties and shoot the ice balls. So that kind of allows us to have lots of different projectile types in the game, but not have to worry about collecting, 8 different ammo types. So every collector in the game's kind of got a purpose. The quills that you've seen me kind of collecting around, the main golden collector, all these guys, you use those to purchase moves from Trouser, who we met earlier. And you can purchase them in virtually any order. We want to add a lot of player choice to the game. We think that's very important in modern games today, and that's one way in which we're trying to modernise the genre. So you can purchase your moves in virtually any order. You can expand the worlds, which is a big feature. So this is the world at its biggest state. You've got this huge monument here that you can kind of scale.
And we can go to like that. That's not just in the distance. That's actually...
you can go all the way up there. So initially, when you go into the world, it might be in a smaller, kind of more manageable state. And then if you really like it, you can decide to kind of spend your pages, which are the main kind of collectible that you get from completing challenges and helping the various NPCs out, to make the world bigger and more complex and more challenges.
That's amazing. For any of you who have just joined us here live, this is actually the world exclusive look at Yooka-Laylee on PlayStation 4. So this is it running. Andy is actually playing on a PS4 right here.
Chris actually just did it in the Killer Instinct announcer voice there.
So, I mean, I've already mentioned Banjo-Kazooie once. What's it like making a game that is clearly inspired by Banjo-Kazooie but still trying to make it not Banjo-Kazooie?
I think
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. In many ways it comes natural to us because a lot of us are the same people that have worked on that game back in the 90s. So it was a case of just kind of getting together and putting our ideas together of what we wanted to see from a game nowadays. But I think a lot of it comes naturally, as these are the kind of things that we do anyway. So a lot of the characters and things are just made by the same people who made those games back in the 90s. And you can tell it's almost like a natural process. So it wasn't even, we didn't sit down and go, well, we've got to have this, it's got to be exactly the same. It was just, oh, we need somebody to do that, oh, we'll do this. And it happens to be, there may be similarities, but there may be things we do slightly different. So that was really, it was more of a natural thing, really, I guess.
Andy, you've done a lot of writing, I know that. Humour has always been a big part of these games. We've already seen, you know, Trouser, the snake.
Nothing to do with me.
All right then. Okay, don't take credit for that. That's amazing.
It's
But this is packed with puns.
Lots of
what
puns.
was Yooka-Laylee's home? We have the ship.
I think it's, what is it
Shipwreck.
called?
It's
Something
Bat
crazy.
Ship.
Bat Ship. Crazy.
Crazy.
Uh,
You have to say that very carefully.
yes.
And be
There
very
were
careful.
other suggestions that we probably can't say on stage. It kind of comes from, I think everyone on the team kind of has a natural kind of dry humour, and we bounce off each other, and kind of it comes naturally almost, like the kind of the funny situations. Like Dr. Puz here, she's kind of in charge of the transformations in the game, so clearly she's had a little bit of an accident with her transformation machine before now. So Yooka-Laylee here are kind of like, oh, look, I have an inkling what might have been, and you know, are you having some technical problems? And they try and like tiptoe around the situation and not offend her. We try and have fun with the scenarios and the characters in the game, and it's you know, having such a talented bunch of artists and designers makes it really easy. She was actually designed by a guy called Ed Bryan, who made Mumbo Jumbo in the Banjo-Kazooie
okay.
games.
So, I wasn't sure if you wanted me to make that link, but yeah, Mumbo Jumbo was our transformation specialist in Banjo.
I think she's got a skull, a suspicious skull there as well.
So what you're going to see now is Andy's going to transform into one of the characters. Each level in the game, you can transform into a different character, and then there's certain challenges you can do as that character. In this one, he's transformed into a plant, which is, why not? It's a jungle after all. So there's certain characters, when you're Yooka-Laylee, you talk to them as, and they would just say, I'm not speaking to you, I need to, you know, you're not my kind, I don't want to talk to you. When you're a plant, you can talk to them, you can get more information out of them, and he's going to do that now. So obviously, to that plant, Yooka-Laylee are now far more attractive than and interesting a character than they were before.
How difficult was it to make all of these transformations, Chris? Like you put a lot of work in creating all the crazy characters they turn into.
Yeah, it's probably, there's a few weeks probably spent on each one, and there's a lot of iteration in terms of, the same with the main player as well, because each one tends to have its own unique control. It's often got its own unique attack, like this one's got a spray attack that it uses, and in this case we're going around and we're pollinating plants. So there's these small plants here, we pollinate those, and then if we pollinate enough of those, we'll be able to get a reward, and that reward will probably end up being a paging.
I think I've broken
Build
it.
your own walkway, build your own stairway here.
Or just destroy it in Andy's case.
Yeah,
Just destroy
exactly,
it.
yeah, just knock it out of the way.
I don't want to spoil the challenge anyway, so I'm going to go back and do something else.
Oh, he's going off somewhere else now. Are you leaving that one?
I'm leaving them
He's had enough.
behind.
He's going
I've had
back,
enough.
he's changing back.
Changing back.
Because everyone wants me to go and climb that giant monument. Let's go and climb that.
Out of interest, with Yooka and Laylee, were they always a chameleon and a bat? Or did you guys have like a list of animals and you were just like putting them together and going, anteater and, you know, eagle?
I think they had to fit together, but we started off with different ideas. I think we had a tiger was one of the original ideas, but it felt like that was too kind of conventional, a hero character. It felt like that was too predictable, so we thought we'd have to do something a bit more out there, a bit weird, and we thought something like a chameleon is great because he's got the ability to change what he is, and we use those features in the game. And the same with the bat, you can use things like sonar. So we wanted characters where we could take the abilities they have in the real world animals, and then bring those into the game. So yeah, there was a few iterations, but I think we pretty much got there within one or two. So I think we had Tiger, and then it was they're musing over a chameleon bat maybe, and then we just thought of all the different things we could do, and then got really excited, and then we just jumped in.
Amazing. Now let's talk about sound, because I know that's one area of your expertise. Banjo-Kazooie, even now, you hear that opening music, all of us could probably sing along. Jingos and Jiggies,
That's right,
we remember all of them, and even Italian Trot, we remember the noises. Yooka-Laylee, what's that been like? Because there's a lot of pressure there to bring that, and I can hear it now.
That's right, yeah. Well, you can hear the little kind of gobbledygook noises that they make there. So we tried to recreate, that's kind of we didn't want to go for recorded speech, because we felt that's something where it takes away a lot of the magic. We want people to use their imagination, and we're trying to give the characters a kind of a different feel, so they've got that kind of cartoony feel to them. So yeah, there's we've done a lot of work on getting the gobbledygook to sound right. So for Yooka, for example, he's kind of a more laid-back character, so he's kind of more of a character, and whereas Laylee, she's more kind of a panicky, tiny character, and she's quite breathy as well, so she's like that. So you remember when we were last up, we were recording Laylee then. So it's taken a while, a few iterations to go through and get those, but we've had everybody in the studios had a go, and we built up all the characters have been voiced by people in the studio, and in fact, because we were on Kickstarter, we've got 15 of the backers on Kickstarter have also appeared in the game as well.
That's amazing.
So even, for example, the Pagey itself, the noise from that there's one of the backers has done that. So and many of the other characters as well. So it's been great for people who've been able to contribute to the game in that way.
Yeah.
So what we did was we took each of those people, we gave them a kind of a tutorial on what sounds we needed, and they went away, they recorded them, we brought them back, and then we kind of just plugged them in and messed around with them a little bit. And then they've just gone in the game.
You guys have probably one of the most passionate communities I've come across in a while. Your Kickstarter was, dare I say, instantaneous.
Yeah, it was amazed us, because we were just sitting there. The way the Kickstarter works is when you launch the page, you don't get the link to the page until you launch it. So Andy had pressed the button in London, and then he sent me via instant message, he sent me the link. I put it in the browser and looked, and then there was already money there, and I said, I must have broken. There's already money there. There's already a number going up. That can't be right. So we just thought we'd broken the Kickstarter page. It's amazing.
Now, there has been the game has pushed back slightly from when you originally wanted to launch. At the moment, you're saying 2017?
That's right, next year, first quarter.
So early then?
Yeah, that's right, yeah, that's what we're looking at the moment. And all's going good.
I mean, like I said, the difference between what I'm seeing,
you can see,
even just a few months ago, it's been worth it.
Yeah, and we've released a toy box that just went out to backers. Well, a lot of people saw that online because a lot of people streamed it, which was great, so a lot of people were able to see it there. That was in a very much an untextured world, just polygonal areas that you could, there were some puzzles and things in there that you could tack on. So now we're kind of showing exactly what the game's going to look like in its final state.
Now, we did this bit before, so as you've already said, I know Andy's already spoken about it a little bit, you start with sort of the world as it is. You can use your pages to make the worlds that you're in bigger. So what you see is not just what you get, but you can also change the terrain quite significantly, can't you? To unlock different challenges and puzzles, and that's pretty much what you're...
That's right, that entire monument there that you see there, that would be normally unlocked. And then there's another area behind where you started, to the right where you started that. In the EGX build here, it's unlocked, but that would normally not be there. So each level as well has its own unique way of unlocking things. The next level has I can't tell you exactly what it is, but there's something that's quite special about the way that unlocks. So we tried to keep people guessing as to what's coming next. And even within the world as well, we tried to make sure there's player choice. So it's not, we wanted to get away from being a linear experience. So when you play here, as you can see when Andy's been playing, he can kind of go in any direction and start anywhere, tackle any challenge he wants. In fact, we had some people who've come back to the stand. They've queued up 3 or 4 times in a row at EGX, and they've said to us, each time they come up, they've actually had a different experience because they've gone off and they've gone to a different area, they've tried something different. So I think they've been very pleased with that.
Last time I saw this, I believe the water physics weren't there. So we just sort of, whenever there was water, you just walked underneath it. You wouldn't automatically swim. That's how far you come. So now you're freezing everything.
That's right. So Andy's he's talked to Nimbo's the cloud, and actually it's interesting because this bit, this is the same build that we're showing on our stand. Nobody's yet got to do this bit. So if anybody's watching, if they can get to Nimbo, that'll be an interesting challenge for them. But you can get to Nimbo the cloud, you get them to rain, and then the rain causes the water to fill up this area here, this dried riverbed. And then if you go back to Nimbo, you fire an ice projectile at him, and then he starts to snow, and then it all becomes ice.
So there's an NPC in the game who challenges you to a race around the dry riverbed. And if you kind of freeze, get to this stage, if you choose to expand the world, go and visit Nimbo up there and freeze the water, the NPC will challenge you to a harder race on the slippery ice. So that's kind of content that not every player will see unless they actually choose to kind of invest all of their collectibles and get everything in making the world bigger so they can get every collectible. So it's just an example of how we're trying to put lots of options in the game for how people play through it. We have a tonic system as well. There's a character called Vendy, who's a big vending machine, of course, and she kind of will sell you these tonics. And what they do is they're kind of like perks. They modify the gameplay when you equip them. So they might make a certain move last longer, or they might make your ground pound stronger. They might make you be able to breathe longer underwater so you can find extra secrets. And what's really interesting about them as well is that they're unlocked rather than kind of purchased. So they kind of have their own objectives, almost like side missions to themselves. So I think people who really enjoy kind of collectathon type games will really enjoy trying to unlock all of those tonics.
It's just so charming.
And there's actually quite a lot of kind of challenging platform quests in the game as well. You'll notice it's not just an adventure game. It's like this, which I've still not done yet.
That was quite tricky. Actually, as Andy's just demonstrated, he was obviously about to fall asleep, but it's actually quite tricky, this one, because you've got to be in the roll move to get up those slopes, otherwise you're forced to slide down. You've got a certain amount of time you can use your roll because you've got a certain amount of power, and so you've got to get around there quite quickly to get to the chest.
Another glitched minion.
Because that was one of the pages, wasn't it?
That's right. There's a pagey that's in we call it pagey in a cagey.
A pagey in a cagey.
Because they're surrounded by little boxes.
We have 8 unique multiplayer kind of arcade games in the game as well.
Okay, show me that. Can we see that?
No, they're not in this build, unfortunately. No. But they can all be played by up to 4 players. They're kind of old school style, totally unique, all of them. I really think fans are really going to enjoy those when we eventually do Untitled.
So 4 players can play?
Yes, like
That's
old school couch multiplayer.
That's so cool.
They are super, super fun. We're already kind of having a lot of fun playing those in the office.
You guys have really just thought of everything. It's like taking a recipe and then added more things to it, and it's still the same thing that you've made, but it's just got more to it. And
yeah, we knew from the past that people had played those games, and they often played them with their friends, got their friends around, and they played those things. So we made those front and center now, so those are unlocked right from the start screen, so you can play any of those 8 games.
This is just...
So this puzzle, this challenge you've got now is there's a pagey that's actually been ripped to shreds, unfortunately, and so you've got to piece them back together. So you've got to investigate this area and locate the different pieces of the pagey and then bring them back together.
I can already tell that glittering noise is going to be the death of me. I'll be able to hear it, like, how do I get to the
that's
pagey?
it, you can hear the noise, and you can hear that there's something nearby. You're not quite sure where it is, so you know there's a pagey nearby.
And of course, it's worth noting that this being the first level in the game, a lot of the challenges are quite accessible, introductory, teach the mechanics. There's definitely be a lot of challenge in the game for veterans, and the expandable worlds themselves allow us to kind of subtly layer a lot of different challenge in, because we think that the most advanced players are going to be the ones who decide to expand all the worlds and, you know, to try and get everything.
Oh, what was that?
So that's one of the ghost writers. There's 5 ghost writers to collect on each level.
You can kind of see them along the bottom there.
Yeah, so and each one's slightly different in the way that you actually collect it. That one hides from you, but using Laylee's sonar ability, you can make her appear. So you need to hear first where she is, and then you get a clue. Again, like we were saying earlier, there's an audible sound. You know there's something happening, so you fire the sonar in that direction, and then it reveals where she is. Then you can go and collect her. The other 4, they have different means to collect them as well. One of them just happens to be hiding. It's called Hidey, and then there's another one where who's trying to get out of the way, just tries to escape you and tries to run it around, and that's called Evadey. And then similarly there's another couple that have got equally interesting names.
We kind of thought it'd be fun if one of them you had to find purely by sound. So that particular Ghost Rider, you just have to kind of listen out for her cries and then try and find her with Laylee's sonar abilities.
We've got a Pagey.
The music's amazing.
The music, I mean, yeah. Like, you guys have absolutely nailed that as well. Talking about sound effects, but
Yeah.
the music to it is...
Yeah, so we've got Brent Kirkhope, who was the composer of the Banjo-Tooie, and he's done a lot of other games since then. He's been on board. He's doing all the music for us in these main areas here. We've also got David Wise, famed from Donkey Kong Country. He's doing music as well, and Steve Burke from Cameo, BAFTA nominee there. So he's also got music. So we've got like so much composer love. We're just overflowing with music.
There's so much talent in that studio. It's unbelievable. But that tiny room, and it is. If you ever see the studio, it's so non-assuming. Like, it's literally a little like red brick building with like a plastic white door, and in there are this team creating Yooka-Laylee, and it's just.
Yeah, we like it like that because it's just if you just go in and get things done. And in fact, where we are now is about 3 times larger than the place we were in when we started. Yeah, when we were on the Kickstarter, we were kind of all back to back.
It's someone's kitchen, like.
That's right. It was like a tiny room like that, and then before that, we were even smaller room. So we kind of, to us, that's an enormous space.
So we've literally been knocking through the walls, like as the team got bigger, and making the office kind of larger by moving into neighbouring offices.
All right, Andy. I think we have 1 more minute. I think before I probably get told off by stage management. So
in that case, I should climb to the top of the monument and jump off it.
Yeah, so Andy's going to get to the very top of the monument now, within the next minute, hopefully. Or he's going to fall off, and then it'll all be ruined.
No, Andy's got this.
Let's see, can he do it?
Andy can, I believe in him.
The pressure is on.
I've done this so many
Pressure
times.
is real.
If the aim is to fall off it, then...
Oh! What's happened? No, he's sliding. He can get there. Right at the top.
Well
and
done.
what's at the top? There's an interesting collectible.
A secret.
A secret collectible. He's going to now jump off and probably fall to his doom. See.
That's awful. Well, I think that's a big round of applause, and a thank you very much. I can't thank you enough for this, because when I sent the email asking you to be here, this was one of those games where I was like, please, I want more Yooka-Laylee. Please let me show Yooka-Laylee on our stage. So this is the best way to start a Saturday morning. Thank you so much.
Great to be here.
So in fact, you're going to come back.
Oh,
yes.
Tomorrow,
we're
and we're going to do it all again in case anyone at home wants to see this twice, so don't blame them.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for having us.
You guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed your look at Yooka-Laylee. A big round of applause for these guys. And that was the first time Yooka-Laylee has ever been shown on PlayStation 4 anywhere in the world, and it was here at EGX on the PlayStation Access stage.
Right here, live at EGX.
God, I love your voice so much. Thank you very much, guys. We'll be back soon. We've got loads more coming up today. We're chatting to Megan Marie from Crystal Dynamics about Tomb Raider. We're taking an in-depth look at Injustice, Hitman, LEGO Dimensions. I have a beautiful Final Fantasy 15 save that we can go through together. You can help me customize the regalia. It's going to be beautiful. And we're also playing Kingdom Hearts 2.8 today, as well as some Overcooked. More Team 17.
Yeah, awesome.
So guys, thank you very much. Stay tuned. There's loads more coming up. Thank you very much.